What's going on, guys? I am Badass Reviewer here, and I am back with another review. This time I'm taking a look at my very first PlayArts Kai Batman figure. This is from the Arkham Asylum armored version, which is really nice. I think it's really cool. Some people were saying it's stupid, and it's not. It's really nice. I think it's probably almost better than the normal version. This costume you get, I think, either by beating the game, or you have to, it came either as DLC or you had to beat the game. I'm pretty sure it was DLC, because I remember when I first got it, it gave me a redeem code for it. So it's either something you didn't get to play as or you did, but some people don't like it, some people do. I think this guy is simply amazing, and I really love it a lot. Like I said, this is my first player's figure. I got him pretty cheap on eBay, so that's why I got them. I like these figures. It's just like they're just so high in price that I don't really want to spend that much on one single figure, especially when it's something that's kind of delicate. Like, I'm just so afraid that I might break this thing, and I would hate for that to happen, because, you know, I don't like spending $50 on a figure and then having it break, you know what I'm saying? So I treat this thing like it's made of glass, pretty much. But, you know, it's not like it'll break too easy, but I do notice that his arms are kind of loose, which I don't like. I think it's due to the way that the figure is made for his articulation, which I'll get to in a little bit. But the detail is really nice on this guy. The head sculpt is amazing. It's got all this nice detail going on, nice sculpting, paintwork, everything. Looks pretty close to how he does in the actual game, so nothing to complain about that. He's a little taller than my tripod, so it's kind of hard to get. He's got really nice detail on the back as well, painted wise, sculpting wise. He's got all this sculpted plating on the back of his neck, which is really awesome. While we're back here, he's got his cape, which is also really nicely painted and sculpted, and it can move around, so you can get it in all sorts of different shapes and different positions and whatnot. And then it's a little hard to see because the cape doesn't want to cooperate, I guess. But underneath, he's got more sculpting and stuff, so that's awesome. Really nice looking, cool figure. I gotta say, for being my first PlayArts Kai figure, I think this is just awesome. But like I said, I gotta treat it carefully, because I just would hate for this thing to break, you know? So, gotta treat it very delicately. But, the rest of the figure is awesomely sculpted. The arms are nicely painted. Looks really awesome. I like the shading and all that they got going on. His arm pads here are really cool looking. It looks like they got some scratches and stuff on it to make it look damaged and weathered and whatnot. Cool little, this little thing right here is nicely painted and sculpted as well. They really didn't skip anything when it came to the detail on this figure. I mean, they painted the straps on here and sculpted those individually. You wouldn't see that on a whole lot of other figures, so that's really awesome. We get down to his torso area. Awesome shading. It looks like it's actually made of metal because of how they paint it with that kind of shiny paint and stuff. So that's really cool. The bat is nicely painted and it is sculpted, so that's also awesome. He's got this. He's got his belt, which I don't know if that was supposed to come off, but it did. So it's a separate piece from the rest of the figure. And see what I'm talking about? I think I just broke this because it just popped off. So that's cool. That shouldn't happen, which is why I hate paying $50 for a figure. So I guess I'll have to paint that back on, or glue that back on, because I wasn't expecting that to break. Okay, so point taken. Do not mess with that. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I'll have to glue that back on now, I guess. Alright, so we'll just leave that. The crotch piece is a individual piece made of a kind of a soft plastic. and these are harder plastic and they're just glued on, as you can see, so don't mess with those. The legs are nicely painted and sculpted, awesome looking, nice metal look to them, shaded in between like the muscled definition and all that. Really cool looking. I just think this is an awesome looking figure, and they sculpted the boots and painted those as well. Really cool. I didn't talk about the hands, but the hands are nicely sculpted. I'll just show you this hand because it's not as far away, but yeah, that's how it is on all the hands. Really nice. So speaking of the accessories and whatnot, he comes with 2 extra hands and 2 weapons. He comes with this pointer finger hand, or a gun finger hand, or whatever you want to call it, which you use to hold on to his batarang, which is a really good size. I like the size of this batarang. It's pretty huge, although I don't think they're that big in the game. But if you wedge it in there enough, it stays pretty good, so it doesn't slide out or anything. And then he comes with the bat claw, which also fits into his hand really nicely. So yeah, and then when you have it onto his when you have it on his hand, you got to just kind of swivel the hand around so that way he's holding it at an angle, kind of, if I can show you, because I don't want to switch out the hands. But basically you got to get his hand like that, that way it can point straight, because it doesn't exactly point straight, so you kind of have to arrange it that way, but it looks just fine that way. And then his other interchangeable hand is for his left hand. Yeah, it's for his left hand, I guess. Whatever this hand is over here, it's just an open hand, which doesn't really do anything. It's probably just to make it more dynamic. But look at the sculpt. There's even sculpting in the palm of the hand, like this little line and stuff. That's just awesome. Really fantastic. Definitely, like, I can see how these figures can run more than $50. It's just, like I said, they're really fragile. I hate to break them. So it's like, as soon as you get them out of package, you pretty much just need to display it and never touch it again, because, you know, things will happen and it'll break. Definitely not meant for playing. Unless you really wanted to play with it, then you could probably break it a whole bunch and then it would just get really loose, and that wouldn't be cool. So let's go over articulation, which is probably the second best part about him. Well, not second best, but it's the extra awesomeness of it. So his head gets a whole range of articulation. It can go up really high and look down really low. He's got this neck joint which moves individual of the head, so that's what helps it, gives it a lot of extra, you know, articulation. The arms, I don't like doing this, but I'll show you. The arms are ball swivels, sort of like Marvel Legends, and they got this butterfly effect right here, so it hinges outward. And then the ball, or the shoulders itself, have a ball on it. They're ball hinged, so those can actually move individual of the shoulder, so they can get an extra range of motion. The arms can go in and out. Rotates at the bicep. He's got a ball pegged shoulder, so it rotates there, and it's a ratcheted joint. And then he's got a ball in the wrist, which allows it to move every which way, and the wrist itself can actually, move, so that way you can twist it and make it go inward and outward. So there's the articulation on that. It kind of gets hindered by the cape, so I would be careful, but it's not too big of a problem. You can still get them in some pretty good punching moves and stuff. I just be careful, because I've seen some people, they kind of force the limits of how far this cape can go out, and this part here will come unglued and it gets ruined, so you got to watch out for that, because that wouldn't be good to happen. Come down to his torso. It's kind of like a diaphragm joint, but really awesome. So he has this upper ab joint which can go forward and back a little bit, and not really in like to the side a little bit, but it doesn't really do as much as it does down here, because down here he can get all sorts of motion and go forward and back and 360 degrees and all that. Maybe not 360 degrees, but you know what I mean. His legs are on ball joints, I guess is what you want to call them. So his leg can go really high up, and then go back, then go in and out. And then there's a ball in the leg that allows it to swivel like this. And then he's got double jointed knees. But the thing is, when you got it bent like that, it looks really ugly because of the way they do their knee joints. So if you bend it one at the top, the leg will actually hide it. The shin pad or the knee pad will hide it, so it looks better like that. If you do it with the first one, then it's still gonna look pretty bad. So yeah, use this top one and it won't look bad, it'll look pretty good. So there's a way of hiding it. The feet are on ball pegs as well, so they can go they can bend and rotate, and then they kind of get an ankle pivot, but not really. It just depends how you pose the ball peg by itself is how you do it. And what's really cool is that his cape are on ball pegs too, which have ratchets in them, which allow you to move the cape any direction that you want. It might be hard to see, but if you can see right here, right there, that's the little balls, the ball pegs that have the swivels and stuff in it. So if you want to, you could fold the cape on top of each other to make it more of a condensed looking cape. So that way it's more straight down. Or you can separate them out, and they're two pieces, which kind of sucks. If you get them too far out, then they it looks kind of strange. But when you get it just right, where they're just right before they split, you can get this really awesome cape effect, which isn't showing up too good. There's a Stormtrooper in Darth Maul. So yeah, then you can get this really cool cape effect, which looks really nice. And that's probably how I'll have him displayed, is kind of having him look really awesome. Pose with the cape kind of outward to make it look like it's windswept. So that's really cool. Really dig this figure a lot. Other than that, I would say this is definitely a figure to pick up. Like I said, it's pretty cheap if you can find it for the right price. I know there's other ones that are cheaper, and this is the cape is the reason why I picked this one over maybe like the Arkham City Batman, which I think is just as cool, but his cape isn't articulated or anything, so I really wanted one that had the articulated cape to give him in some cooler poses and stuff. So there's trade-offs between which one you get. It just depends. It's really strange that the newer ones don't have that. Like some of them do, some of them don't, but this one does, so that's kind of why I picked it. And it's I think it was a little bit cheaper, if not the same price as the Arkham City one. So whichever one you prefer is probably the one you want to get. But it's whatever you guys want to do. It's your guys' money, and like I said, just be really gentle with these things, because like I said, they're like glass, and this thing already broke, so now I gotta fix it. So that kind of sucks. I'm gonna probably be really angry when I put this camera down, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'm sorry it was a little bit long, but I like to go over all the details. And stay tuned for more reviews, because I have a lot more stuff coming up. Just got a whole bunch of toys today, so there's going to be quite a bit of videos coming out. So just stay tuned for that, and please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.